And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us, especially when we lost the lights. We got the lights back now, though, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Dennis Webster is our guest. Dennis, you were telling me when we, in our period of darkness there, that's not the first time that's happened to you with lights, and you've been talking about mystery and
That's right, yeah.
ghosts. And
You know, I think you know that I'm in the Ghost Seekers of Central New York,
Yeah.
so I'm a paranormal investigator and a ghost hunter besides being an author. And ghosts draw power, especially from batteries. When we do ghost investigations and you think there's a ghost around, they absolutely draw power. So I was teasing you saying, well, we were talking about Dr. Brigham, and that was his entity. His ghost was here, and he drained the power from the battery in your light.
There you go. Do you have people who say to you, oh, Dennis, come on, that stuff like that? I'm sure you do.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
How do you respond to them?
I say, it's good to be skeptic. I was
Yeah.
before I got into doing this. I started out as a skeptical person with curiosity. And I started going on ghost investigations with the Ghost Seekers, and I started experiencing things. And after about a decade of doing this, I'm like, you know, there's something to it.
And it involves, and the thing we were talking about is the batteries. We've switched now our lights from the batteries. We've plugged them into the outlets now, so we don't have to worry. I was just looking through Haunted Mohawk Valley, and that was number what in your series of books?
That was number 6.
Okay. And I was flipping through the pages, and I see pictures of something called an orb, O-R-B. What's an orb?
Well, a lot of people have theories, and this is just a theory, that an orb is a ball of energy that's not a complete entity, like the spirit or the ghost doesn't have enough energy to fully form, so they're partially formed. That's the theory.
And the orb, that you have a couple pictures of orbs from the Stanley Theater.
Oh yeah, the Stanley Theater, beautifully haunted. Investigated it 3 times, and every time had a lot of stuff in there.
That's an interesting phrase, beautifully haunted. Why do you use that phrase?
Because it's a curious entity, I would say, a
And
friendly,
not a scary thing.
Correct. That's one misnomer that I think people have about ghost hunting and ghosts and spirits. Our theory, and it's a theory, I like to say that to people, is we retain our personalities in the afterlife. So curious, grumpy, happy, that kind of thing. So you do enough ghost hunting, you run into all different kinds of ghosts.
Some of the buildings that you've gone into as a ghost hunter. Stanley, what else?
We just did the Masonic Temple on Genesee Street, the Fort Schuyler Club, the Molly McKinnon Mansion, which is absolutely drop-dead gorgeous on Genesee Street.
Now, which one is that?
That's the one, it's like across from the Oneida County History Center.
Yes.
It's now like a rectory, the church is attached to it.
Yes.
Oh, you should walk through there sometime if you haven't. It's unbelievably beautiful inside. 3rd floor ballroom up there.
What about the New Century Club? Did you ever get in there? The New Century Club, it's being rehabbed now. It is on the corner of Genesee and Hopper.
I would love to go in there.
Yeah.
I know one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, I would love to go in there if someone would invite us.
Yeah. The Ghost Hunters of Central New York, active group?
Yeah, we meet every week. We got a meeting tonight. Actually, we do investigations and we do fundraisers. We don't charge anything for what we do. It's just kind of curiosity seeking is the way I would call it.
Didn't you go up to the Hulbert House once?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
What about that?
That place is amazing. Just the history alone, but it's absolutely haunted. Our particular group took that famous Civil War ghost picture. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Wayne, the Civil War ghost.
No.
They have it on display up there. We actually took that picture of him standing in a doorway, but when you look at the actual photo, you can see through him.
The history of Central New York, fascinating history. In fact, you use a line, spirits rise from the misty waters of the river to haunt the Mohawk Valley.
Yeah, this is just such a beautiful area for those that, I've been here all my life, love it here. It's just the topography, the beauty, the history, going back to the Native Americans and then the first settlers in our country in this area.
Do you ever do anything Revolutionary War time frame? I'm thinking about General Herkimer's house.
Oh yeah, that's very haunted. Not from around here, but I just did a ghost investigation walkthrough of Fort William Henry down on Lake George. What an amazing place that is.
And you wouldn't be able to, amazing for what reason, Dennis?
It's just, I never realized that a lot of those soldiers are dead and buried 9 feet below in the middle of that fort. I don't know if you've ever been there, where
No.
you walk inside.
Yeah.
They buried 6 feet of sand on top of the soldiers who passed in the Revolutionary War battle there, then another 3 feet. So that could be the theory why it's so haunted, because you have the ghosts of dead patriots and brave men buried right there.
Yeah.
You're walking on it.
Would it not be, would it not work for you as a ghost hunter to go to Fort Stanwix, because Fort Stanwix is a reconstructed and not the original?
True.
Yeah.
True. Although our group did walk through Oriskany battlefield and got some experiences there. That's hallowed ground, because that's where people passed away in brave battle over there, Battle of Blood Creek.
What's a site that you want to go to? You mentioned New Century Club as a building you'd like to get into. Any others?
Of course, Old Main.
Yeah.
Everybody would love to get into Old Main, but they won't allow it, which I understand. It's owned by New York State, and they don't want people fiddling around in there. It's not exactly safe. You know, but I would say that's probably #1 on everyone's wish list.
There are other ghost seekers, hunters that come into our area.
Oh yeah, there's a couple groups around here. There's a group called the Shadow Chasers that I know of, and there's also RIP, Rome Investigators of the Paranormal. A couple of really good local groups.
Yeah. You doing any signings?
Going to be at Halloween on Friday, October 24th.
Halloween.
Halloween, yeah, Halloween with wine.
Okay.
It's for Catholic Charities. It's their one annual big fundraiser, and the Ghost Seekers, we ghost hunted the Masonic Temple on Genesee Street, and that's where they're hosting the event, so we will be there.
What's the public have to do to get in for that, Dennis?
Well, if you visit the Catholic Charities Facebook page or website, they have the tickets on sale, or you can get information. It's a really nice fundraiser for a low price. I think it's $35 a ticket. You can have all you can eat and all you can drink, and you get to see this beautiful interior of that building, and you get to meet us, and we get to show you all the ghosts that are in there.
Nice. And you're going to be signing your books?
Yes, I'll have books there, and I'll be signing.
Whereabouts are your books still? I know they're up at the Oneida County History Center.
Correct. You can get them there. They're also in Barnes & Noble, or you can get them on Amazon.com.
Would you, for somebody who has thought of a book, they said, you know, gee, I've got this idea.
Right.
I'd like to do what Dennis has done. Any thoughts, any advice for them?
Well, it's interesting. The best book that I read on writing is called On Writing by Stephen King. And he's a couple things he gives advice in there, which I had already done, which is don't think about the grammar or being so correct. Just write it nice and loose as you're thinking of it. You'll never get writer's block. And I would say, just you don't have to worry about writing the whole book. Do a little bit every day. Like say, oh, I'm going to write 50 words a day or 100 words a day. And if you stick to that, before you know it, you have a book.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned Stephen King, because that book on writing, I've read it, and it is a great book.
Yeah.
I don't like Stephen King's books, but I like his book about writing.
Yeah, I agree. I think he has great practical advice. He says the only 2 books you should own as a writer is Strunk and White's Manual Style and the Chicago Manual Style, which I already had both of them. So I was like, well, I'm onto something.
Well, when I started at the Observer-Dispatch in 1978, they gave me, as they did every new reporter down there, one book. Guess what the name of it was?
The Webster Dictionary?
No, Strunk and White's book.
Oh, yeah, that's a phenomenal book, isn't it? It's just a skinny little book, but it's... I've read it over and over, and I still make mistakes all the time when I write.
Yeah.
As far as grammar, you know.
Yeah, that makes 2 of us. The book that you're working on now, you expect that to be out when, Dennis?
That'll be out in springtime, because I'll be doing a book tour, book signing throughout the Adirondacks. Closest to here probably would be in Old Forge.
The hardware store?
Yep, Old Forge Hardware, which is haunted.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
People have seen the ghost of Moses Cohen walking the aisles at night.
He was the owner.
Correct, the original owner.
Yeah. They've got a very good bookstore up there.
Oh, yeah, I love that place. I've done many book signings up there. It's wonderful.
Well, continued success with your writing. Mention the date of that Halloween.
Friday, October 24th.
Okay, good luck with that as well.
Thank you, Joe.
That's going to do it for us this week. We'll be back next week. We'll keep the lights on throughout the show. Until next time, take care of yourself, everybody.